Plymouth at just 3 degrees Celsius this morning, whilst Aberdeen sits at a relatively mild 7 degrees. Yes, you heard that correctly. The southwest is colder than the far north of Scotland. And this temperature inversion is just the beginning of what's shaping up to be a rather unusual weather week across the United Kingdom. Is your area about to face a dramatic shift in conditions? Right now, the Met Office has yellow warnings active across 17 counties, affecting an estimated 12 million people, primarily for persistent rain and localized flooding. But what is developing over the Atlantic could change everything for the second half of this week. Here's what you need to know, and I will give you specific timing for your location in the next 30 seconds. Drop your city or county in the comments right now, and I will provide personalized forecasts for tomorrow's video. I am particularly interested in hearing from those of you in the Midlands and Wales, as you are sitting right on the boundary of two very different air masses. London, you are looking at highs of 11 degrees today, dropping to 8 by Thursday, with rain arriving late afternoon. Manchester, steady at 9 degrees through Wednesday, then a sharp drop to 5 degrees by Friday morning. Birmingham sits in the uncertain zone, anywhere between 7 and 10 degrees depending on how quickly this system moves. Glasgow, remarkably mild at 10 degrees today. You will stay relatively warm through the week. Cardiff, brace for heavy rain Wednesday evening, clearing Thursday morning with temperatures holding at 9 degrees. Belfast, you are the outlier here, potentially reaching 12 degrees by Thursday. Warmest spot in the UK. Now, let me show you why this forecast is so challenging. The Met Office Unified Model is tracking a deep low pressure system currently 600 miles west of Ireland. However, the European model has the same system taking a track roughly 80 miles further south. This difference might sound trivial, but it changes everything for southeast England and East Anglia. We'll have a much clearer picture by tomorrow morning as model runs, so do check back. Current conditions across the country show quite a mixed bag. The south coast from Dover through to Pennines is dealing with thick cloud and drizzle, temperatures ranging from 5 to 7 degrees. Brighton, you are particularly grey this morning. Moving up to the home counties, Oxford and Cambridge, both sitting at 6 degrees with improving conditions expected by midday. The Midlands tells two stories. Nottingham and Leicester on the eastern side are dry at 8 degrees, whilst Birmingham and Coventry to the west are seeing light rain. Northern England presents interesting contrasts. Leeds and Sheffield are enjoying brief sunny spells at 7 degrees, but that one to last. Liverpool is already seeing the first bands of heavier rain push in from the Irish Sea, and I am rather concerned about how this develops through tonight. Newcastle, you are dry now at 8 degrees, but wait until you see what is coming later this week. Scotland is where things get fascinating. Edinburgh at 9 degrees, relatively calm. Glasgow at 10 degrees, as mentioned earlier, staying surprisingly mild. But here is what nobody is talking about. Aberdeen, Inverness and the Highlands could see the most dramatic temperature swing of anywhere in the UK. Currently at 7 to 9 degrees, you could be looking at -2 degrees by Saturday morning. That is an 11-degree drop in 72 hours. Wales deserves particular attention today. Cardiff and Swansea are currently at 8 degrees with rain imminent. Bangor in the north, Ury at 7 degrees, and likely to see the heaviest rainfall totals for Wales. Some models are suggesting 100 millimetres over a 48-hour period starting Wednesday evening. That is a month's worth of rain in 2 days for North Wales. Northern Ireland, Belfast at 9 degrees, Derry at 8 degrees. You are in for a relatively quiet week compared to the rest of the UK, which is unusual. The low pressure systems are tracking south of you, meaning you'll see some rain but nothing particularly severe. There's one thing about this setup that concerns me most, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But first, the Channel Islands and Isle of Wight. Jersey and Guernsey, you are looking at 10 degrees today with rain later. Isle of Wight, similar story, 10 degrees with deteriorating conditions this evening. Here's that concern I mentioned. We have two air masses about to collide right across the middle of England. Cold air pushing down from the north, mild but very wet air pushing up from the south. Where they meet, somewhere around a line from Bristol to Norwich, we could see some exceptionally heavy rainfall. The models aren't in agreement yet about the exact position of this boundary, which is why tomorrow's update will be crucial. Let me take you through the 3-day outlook in detail. Today, Tuesday, we've got this persistent rain across western areas gradually spreading east. Southampton and Portsmouth expect rain by early afternoon. Exeter and Plymouth in the southwest already have it. Bristol, you will see rain arriving around lunchtime. The Cotswolds and surrounding areas mid-afternoon for you. Central England stays mostly dry today. Derby, Stoke-on-Trent, you've got until this evening. York stays dry longest in the north, possibly until after dark. Coastal areas on the east, from Scarborough down through to Great Yarmouth, you might escape with just cloudy skies today. Tonight is where it gets interesting. Rain intensifies across Wales and northwest England, Blackpool, heavy rain from midnight onwards. The Lake District could see 50 to 70 millimetres, which will lead to some swollen rivers and streams by Wednesday morning. Scotland stays relatively dry tonight, temperatures holding at 6 to 8 degrees. Southern England sees rain spreading from the west, but lighter than further north. Wednesday brings the main event. That deep low pressure I mentioned earlier will be closest to the UK. The exact track still uncertain, but currently the Met Office is showing it passing just south of Ireland. This means the heaviest rain for southern and central England, lighter conditions for Scotland and Northern Ireland. Actually, I should be more precise about Wednesday's timeline because timing is everything with this system. Southwest England, your heaviest rain comes between 6 o'clock Wednesday morning and midday. Cornwall, Devon, Somerset, you are looking at 20 to 30 millimetres in that 6-hour window. Midlands and Wales, your peak rainfall is Wednesday afternoon and evening. Hereford, Worcester, Shrewsbury expect difficult driving conditions between 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. The M5 and M6 could be particularly affected. Southeast England, including London, this is your concern. Wednesday evening into Thursday morning could bring 40 to 60 millimetres. The Thames Valley area, Reading, Slough, parts of West London, the combination of rainfall and already saturated ground is rather worrying. Surface water flooding is likely in the usual susceptible areas. Eastern England gets caught by the back edge of this system. Norwich, Ipswich, Cambridge, your heaviest rain arrives late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. It won't last as long as areas further west, but intensity could be significant. Hang on, let me check that again. The latest model run just came in whilst I was preparing this, and there's been a shift. The European model has nudged that low pressure track about 30 miles further north than the previous run. If that verifies, it means heavier rain for the Midlands and lighter conditions for the southeast than I just described. This is exactly why you need to check back tomorrow. These small shifts in track make enormous differences to who gets what. Scotland Wednesday, you are the winners here. Mostly dry, some bright spells, temperatures 9 to 11 degrees. That Edinburgh, Glasgow and the Central Belt. Aberdeen and the northeast, you might catch some rain Wednesday evening, but nothing significant. Inverness and the Highlands, you stay dry all day. Northern Ireland Wednesday, light to moderate rain at times, nothing heavy. Belfast at 10 degrees, Derry at 9 degrees. Your main concern isn't Wednesday, it is what follows. Thursday brings uncertainty. The models show 3 different scenarios for how quickly high pressure builds from the west. Manchester, Leeds, Sheffield, Liverpool likely dry with temperatures 8 to 9 degrees. London and southeast uncertain, could clear midday or stay grey all day. Temperature around 9 degrees regardless. Scotland Thursday starts to change. Cold air pushes southwards. Overnight Thursday into Friday, Aberdeen drops to 3 degrees, Inverness 2 degrees, Edinburgh and Glasgow 4 to 5 degrees. Friday shows dramatic temperature contrast. North gets significantly colder while south holds milder air. Glasgow 6 degrees, Edinburgh 5, Aberdeen 3. Compare that to London 10 degrees, Plymouth 11, Brighton 10. Manchester sits in the middle at 7, with cold air pushing south and milder air holding on. We get a battleground around Liverpool to Hull. North of that, risk of wintry showers over higher ground. Pennines, Lake District, Scottish Highlands could see snow Friday night into Saturday. Above 400 metres in Scotland, snow likely. Above 300 metres northern England, snow possible. If there is one thing to take away from this forecast, it is that the weekend is shaping up to be split personality weather. Saturday, cold across the north, milder in the south, unsettled everywhere. Sunday, high pressure tries to build but struggles. The jet stream position is crucial here, and we simply want to know until later this week. Let me talk about those of you who've already commented asking about specific events this weekend. Football matches, outdoor markets, park runs. I know this uncertainty is frustrating. The reality is, we're at that time of year where small shifts in atmospheric patterns create big differences. This is classic British autumn weather, unpredictable and changeable. Coastal areas asking about wind, Wednesday and Thursday. Winds pick up on western coasts. Plymouth, Penzance, Cornwall, gusts could reach 60 to 70 kilometres per hour Wednesday afternoon. Irish sea coast, similar Wednesday evening. Hebrides, Orkney, Shetland, potentially 80 to 90 kilometres per hour Thursday. Ferry disruption possible. East Coast stays calmer throughout. I know this isn't ideal for those of you with outdoor plans. Unfortunately for the Midlands and Wales, you are getting the worst of both worlds this week. Heavy rain midweek, then uncertainty into the weekend. But let's find the positives. After this system clears, we should get a window of settled weather early next week. Not saying it'll be sunny necessarily, could be that anticyclonic gloom we know so well, but at least dry. For gardeners who've commented, this rain is actually rather useful. Groundwater levels have been below average across much of England. This week's rainfall, whilst inconvenient, does help recharge those levels before winter properly sets in. Right then, Let me address key regional specifics. The southwest, Devon and Cornwall. Rainfall Wednesday looks like 30 to 50 millimetres widely, 60 to 80 over Dartmoor and Bodmin Moor. Rivers will respond quickly. Southeast England, London and Thames Valley, concern is urban surface water flooding. Adding another 40 to 50 millimetres Wednesday night could overwhelm drainage in usual trouble spots. The Midlands faces the most uncertain forecast. That air mass boundary could set up right across the region. Leicester could see very different conditions to Coventry despite being only 40 kilometres apart. Northwest England, Manchester, Liverpool, Preston, definitely heavy rain Wednesday. 50 to 70 millimetres widely, locally higher over hills. M62 Trans-Pennine route particularly affected Wednesday afternoon. Scotland, Central Belt, relatively quiet until Friday as temperature drop. Northeast driest but coldest by weekend. -2 degrees Saturday morning in Aberdeen, increasingly likely. Highlands face cold northerly winds from Friday with snow showers over higher ground. Wales, the valleys in line for highest totals, 60 to 90 millimetres Wednesday into Thursday. Snowdonia could see 70 to 100 millimetres, with snow above 600 metres Friday night. Northern Ireland has the calmest week. Belfast, Derry, looking at modest rainfall, 20 to 30 millimetres spread across the week, temperatures holding steady. Those of you planning travel this week, Wednesday is your day to avoid if possible, particularly afternoon and evening. Roads will be wet, visibility reduced, journey times extended. Thursday improves through the day. Friday and the weekend, cold but generally dry for most, though Scotland and Northern England might see wintry showers. Rail services, watch for alerts Wednesday. West Coast Main Line and routes through Wales could see speed restrictions. London Underground, the usual suspects for flooding. Keep an eye on transport for London updates Wednesday evening. For those who've already dropped your location in the comments, thank you. I am seeing a lot of interest from the Midlands, which makes sense given the uncertainty there. Tomorrow, I'll focus specifically on the Midlands situation and what the latest high-resolution models are showing. Let me recap where we are, because this has been quite detailed. Persistent rain for many areas, heaviest Wednesday across Wales, the Midlands, northwest England, and possibly the southeast. Uncertainty about exact rainfall amounts and distribution, particularly for central and southern England. Turning colder from the north Friday and Saturday with risk of wintry showers over higher ground in Scotland and northern England. Weekend unsettled with significant north to south temperature contrast. The models will run again this evening, overnight, and tomorrow morning. Each run gives us more information, sharpens the picture, or occasionally muddies it further. That's the nature of forecasting in a pattern like this. The large-scale picture is clear, deep low pressure midweek bringing heavy rain and wind. The fine detail, who gets exactly what and when, that is what we are still pinning down. I appreciate this. Uncertainty is frustrating, especially for those of you with plans, but I'd rather give you an honest, uncertain forecast than false confidence. Meteorology isn't about certainty, it's about probabilities and possibilities. Right now, the probability of heavy rain Wednesday is very high across Wales, northwest England, and parts of the Midlands. The possibility of that rain extending further south and east exists, but probability is lower. For tomorrow's forecast, I'll have updates on that weekend cold snap for Scotland, firmer detail on rainfall amounts, and we'll start looking ahead to next week's potential northerly outbreak. There is also a very interesting development the American model is hinting at for around the 8th or 9th of November, but it's too far out to discuss seriously yet. I'll mention it if it's still showing tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and genuinely do leave your location in the comments. I read them, I take note of where you read from, and it helps me target tomorrow's forecast better. If you read from somewhere I haven't to mention today, apologies, there's only so much I can pack into one video. But I'll try to rotate coverage so everyone gets specific attention over the week. Tomorrow's video will be up around the same time, early afternoon, once I've had a chance to review the morning model runs. The situation is evolving, the forecast will evolve with it, and that SY, checking back daily through this week, is genuinely important if you need to plan around the weather. Stay dry out there, especially those of you in the firing line Wednesday. And for those in Scotland facing that cold snap, dust off the winter coat, you will be needing it by the weekend.